What is going on, good people? This your boy Randy with OnEdge TV, and today we are talking about lighting. Let's get it. So in this video, I want to talk about my lighting process and the setup that I did in this video right here. I had about 5 lights, and it's pretty complex. So I just want to break it down and talk about my thought process. So first, this is the shot with just all the lights in the studio turned on, the house lights, the ceiling lights. And this is what it looks like. Some say this looks pretty good, but it does not. It's very flat. It's not flattering. It does not look cinematic. You can get away with this with, your clients and stuff, but if they see somebody else who actually know how to light, then they will start to see, well, that's not pretty good. So this is what everything turned on, all the lights, and this is not a good lighting setup. So the first thing I do is I find my shot. Once I find my composition, then I start to build around it. I start building my background. If you see, I had like this divider behind me to add texture because it's just a plain back wall. So I added a divider behind me, behind the subject, to add texture on the wall. I had a plant there. Then I had another table back there with a lamp. Now this is my practical light, and I will get into why I have a practical light in this shot in a minute. But just added more depth, and the way you want to have it, you got those rule of thirds. I have them camera left because the interviewer is, he's looking at the interviewer. So you want to have this space. You don't want to frame your subject directly in the middle, and you don't want to frame them all the way to the right, looking off to the right. So if they're framed this way, then you want them looking that way. And then if I'm doing this, it doesn't look that good. So you always want to, learn composition. So once you get your shot, then you can start setting up your lights. And this is my key light. I set up the key light first. I always start from my key light. That's just how I do it. But I start from the key light, and this looks kind of like an interrogation scene, but it's very dramatic, very moody. It's not corporate. It's not commercial. So this wouldn't work for a commercial look, but it could work for a documentary, and it could work for maybe a YouTube setup or something else. It's not bad, but it's not great either. So once we got our key light, I went and I added my hair light. And I always do a hair light. I just have a Godox TL60 above me, above the subject, pointing down, hitting their shoulders and their head. You could do other backlights, but I like a hair light. It's my favorite backlight. You could do kicker, rim light, all those things. But me personally, I always do hair light. That's just what I like, my personal preference. And I added and that's where the lamp come in, because my backlight is matching the color temperature of this practical light behind me. So whatever light is in the shot is a practical light. And if you have a lamp behind you that's orange, because you got to motivate, why is there an orange light coming from behind them? So I added this lamp here to emphasize that backlight. So now our eyes, our brain think that lamp is what's giving light on the subject, when that lamp wasn't even hitting him at all because it's so far in the background. Now the next light that I added was a fill light, because it is corporate. So you could use a bounce card or reflector, but I just added another Godox TL60 on the opposite side to just lift the shadows a little more on this other side of his face, just to make it more of a higher key bright light. Now this shot looks great. You could honestly stop here if you wanted to, but we could take it a step further. So the next light that I added, I was emphasizing more on the lamp here in the background. I added a TL60 hanging from the divider, adding more light on inside the divider. So now it looks like this lamp is doing all of this. It looks like the lamp is adding light on the subject, and it's adding light inside of the divider here. Now we have color contrast. We got that orange-ish blue look going. So now we got good color contrast also to help separate him more from the background. And I'm shooting at f2, by the way. I'm using a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K with the Sigma 18-35, shooting at f2. If anyone cares what camera I'm using. But So yeah, so I added that light, and that just adds so much more to the shot. Now we're gonna add one more light, and this light is, you can stop right here. Again, you can just call it stop right here. For watch it, we stop when we can add more. So let's add one more light. Now this is my gobo that I use. I have it connected to a Godox SL60 W. That was my first cob light that I bought, actually. That's how, when I started getting into cinematography, I bought that 60 watt light, and it has got me through a lot. Actually, I used that light on a film 2 years ago, and that film is winning a ton of awards. It's getting nominated for a bunch of stuff, and everyone's commenting on how great the lighting was. And I used a really cheap cob light. I've upgraded long since then, but you can start with that light if you want. But so now it looks like the window is a window here. Now the reason why I added that there is because I wanted to motivate my key light. So now it looks like there's a window adding all of this light on him in a way. And then you got that, like, that white, orange, like pattern going. It just adds more texture to the shot, because you want to look at everything in the shot. You want to, look at the background, the foreground, all that stuff, because it's like when you're using lighting, it's like painting a picture. Light is pretty much like painting a picture. That's what I think. So yeah, so I have the window here. That window is adding light to, that's what's lighting up lighting up his face. But what you want to think about when you're lighting is what motivates your light. Because when you're lighting, you want to look around the room. Okay, how can I motivate the light? If you don't have any, like we don't have any windows outside in the studio, so I always trying to find ways, how can I motivate light when I shoot in the studio, or if I'm shooting on location somewhere like in my house. There's a window right here, but all these windows here aren't really adding any light on me because the sun is going down. So I added a light here to emphasize that window daylight coming in. And then of course there's a big window behind me this way, and that's what's adding more of this kicker rim light or whatever on this side of me. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. When you're lighting, you want to think about all your details, especially with corporate lighting, interview lighting, lighting a scene. It's all the same thing. This is a standard 3-point light setup, but I just took it a step further. Don't be afraid to go overboard with lights, but don't go too overboard. But it's just all a part of like your creative, whatever you think. It's all subjective. There's a right way to light and a bad way to light. There's never a wrong way to light, I guess. But there's a right way and there's a bad way. So it's all subjective. Lighting is subjective. And yeah, so if this video was helpful, smash that like button, subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, stay tuned on our videos. I think I'm changing my channel more so on lighting. So I'm diving more and more into doing lighting videos because that is what I'm known for, is lighting. So I'm just transitioning my channel more so into lighting and stuff like that. But I will obviously do other filmmaking stuff too. But the majority of it will be lighting. But we're still gonna do the camera reviews, camera gear reviews, and editing and all that stuff. But most of it will be lighting. But yeah, if you're into that stuff, you know what to do. Subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thanks for being here. We got some great stuff coming. Let's get it. Peace.